Alright, this is just a quick little screen capture kind of giving you some tips on how to start the typographic portrait. So first thing you should have done is done some rough sketches. Could be on multiple characters, could be on the same character. Really trying to figure out what it is you want to do, what kind of type you want to use, whether it's a handwriting, a cursive, a certain type of sans serif, a very specific serif. Kind of taking a look at what will work best for your artwork. The next thing that you'll need to do is start setting up your artboard. So I have this here, but let me show you how to set it up from scratch. So we are going to do File, New, or Create New when you open it up. And you want to go over to Print, Tabloid. So this is actually, if we switch this from points to inches, it's going to show you that it's 11 by 17. And when we come back to school, that's what I'm going to print it on. So we're going to make sure it's set up for that and it's not set up for something smaller. Start by naming it. Type Portrait, Typographic Portrait. Probably put your last name in front. Life helps. And then I think everything else here should be just fine. So as long as those settings are set up, whether that's in points or in inches, it should say 11 by 17, this tabloid here, right here. And then we'll hit create. Oh, another thing that I didn't forget to show you is you have the option between going side to side or up and down. I don't really care how you set up the 11 by 17. You can switch it from portrait to landscape. It might depend on what kind of photo you're using. So I'm going to go to File, Document Setup, see if I can switch it there. I can't, but Window, Artboards, I should be able to switch it here. Yep, switch it in the Artboards menu. Click OK. Perfect. That's what I need. Because just like I shared in the Zoom meeting, I am going to be basing mine off Captain Marvel. Because she's legit. And also I'm a big fan of blonde superheroes, obviously. So you want to make sure that when you go to your Google search, you go to Images, Tools, make sure you're searching only large images to utilize. In fact, the more shading, the better this is going to come out for you. So this really nice dramatic shading here is going to help out a lot. Very simple images usually don't end up coming out that well because you just can't add enough detail to really bring them forward in type. So I'm going to Control, Open Image in New Tab, drag it onto my desktop. I already have it here. And then double check my layers, and I'm going to move it here. I can hold down Shift, make it larger, make it take up the amount that I need in the artboard. If it goes outside of the artboard, it's not a big deal. The next thing you want to do is you're going to want to set this to be kind of transparent so you can go over it. So I'm going to go to Window, up at the top. I'm going to go to Transparency, right here. And I'm going to drop that down. I will probably drop it to about 40%. You can rearrange this as you need to. But I'm going to drop it down around there. Enough for me to see the shadows, but also enough where I can type over it and not be distracted. The next tip that I really should stress is layer management. I put the image on one layer and I'm going to lock that. Now notice I can't move it, I can't edit it, and then when I need to go and hide it, I can hide it and we'll be all set. So I am going to want to create new layers, 1, 2, 3, however many. This one is my reference photo, and I'm renaming it by double-clicking on the layer name. And then maybe this layer is going to be hair. With the amount of type, the amount of vectors you're going to be using, or shapes, you're really going to want to name these so that you can lock them. So once you get the hair done, you can lock it, and it's not going to get in the way of any of your other pictures. So Next thing I could do is I could really go and I could Google Captain Marvel comic, and I'm really going to take a look at what kind of fonts are being used in the comic book. You can see that there's different kinds here, and I might save this more flashy, kind of almost Star Wars-like font for big parts, maybe across. This is a good point to reference your doodles or to doodle a little bit more. I could go across the starburst on her chest. I could utilize something a little bit more just sans serif in her hair, kind of really playing around with what's already out there. The next thing I'm going to need to know is, what do I want the text to be? Do I want it to be her name over and over and over again, or do I want to kind of push it? So like I described in the Zoom meeting, I actually Googled which songs were in the movie, and I'm going to be using lyrics from that. Really kind of push this girl power thing too while I'm at it. So from here, you can kind of start playing around. You can utilize, how do you want to do this? Do you want to create shapes? Do you want to create paths? What I have happening over here is you can see that there's paths happening, really curving with her hair. It's always a good place to start. So I kind of create a path, hitting escape to end it. Get my type on path tool. Maybe copy part of the lyric. And then figure out, okay, is this a lighter area? Is this a darker area? Do I need to drop the font size down? Here in properties, do I need to spread out the leading and the kerning or the tracking? She has some really blonde hair, so it might even be a good idea for me to spread out the letters, give them more space, really push how light it is, because really these are starting to get really dark. But I've locked them, so I can't use them, but you can kind of see these ones close together are nice because it's the shadow of her hair, but this one really opens up. You're going to start to see this really come together once you have a lot of text, but really not before. Remember to file, save as while you're working on it. Keep it as an Illustrator file in your Graphic Design 2 folder until you're done. When you are done, you'll want to export it as a PDF or save it as a PDF. Please feel free to reach out to me on email, Schoology, come to the Zoom meeting if you have questions. I'm free to share screens with you. You can share your screen with me and we can troubleshoot anything that you're working on. We are going to get together and kind of share our progress on these sometime next week as well. So, there you have it. That should help you get started.